So we're lucky enough to have Dr. Franklin with us, who's going to give us a little mini Insta training on using a critical DBT skill of Dearman, which I've been really wanting more practice with. So lucky to have her doing this. And I'm going to be the client in this situation. Dr. Franklin is Dr. Franklin. So as much of an intro as you want to give.
Yeah. So normally just explaining this, that it took me a long time to kind of really get Dearman. I think the acronym throws people off, but it's really not that hard. Okay. And I think once you use it, it can be really useful. I actually say I really just focus on the dear. If you're gonna focus on anything, like I think that's the most important part. And the man is sort of the support to it. But if you're gonna you can just use the dear is what I found as well.
And remind us, I actually don't remember at this moment, when would be clinical moments where you would think this is a great tool in the toolbox?
When I have to have any sort of difficult conversation where there's something at stake, there's emotions run high, and I need to communicate something. So I think a lot of times with teenagers, this is a good one because they don't feel heard. People in relationships, it can even be a difficult work conversation. Okay. So anytime there is a difficult conversation, I think this can be useful.
So when a client there's a difficult conversation or difficult content that maybe they're less effectively
getting emotional or not able to get their needs met in a certain way, or have someone at least listen to them in a way. So I think anytime it's a potentially emotionally charged communication.
Got it. And so I'm happy to be a client because I could think of
I'll describe it how I normally describe it to a client.
Let's do it. Do you need the scenario? Or can we just go for it?
So they have an example scenario that I actually use because I think it's really useful.
Oh, okay, okay.
The classic scenario, here's the dear. It's describe, express, assert, reinforce. So this idea that a lot of times, I think the most important part is pulling out the actual facts and the emotions. And so that's this idea of when people get in trouble, it's you didn't get home until 11, and if you cared about me, you'd come home to 11, and you're so inconsiderate, or you'd come home earlier if you cared about me, and this is just never going to work in our marriage because you don't care. So it's this idea that I'm feeling is different than what actually happened. And that's where people will start to have this fight. Of course I care about you. That's ridiculous. Why are you being like this? You're overreacting. And so
I'll just say as a relationship concern of feeling disappointed about not celebrating my anniversary with my husband and because different things came up. And so can we work with that situation?
Yeah, that's a perfect
so let's start now. Perfect.
So what we would say is, instead of that, all of that mess, let's describe just the facts. So what are just the facts of the situation?
Okay. So the facts are that it was our anniversary, August 7th, 2 days ago. And we didn't really end up doing anything. It turned out he had COVID the week before. My tests are all negative, so I'm fine. I didn't get it. But, and so he was still sort of not feeling great, although it was kind of the end of it past the 10th day. And I bought him a present and we didn't even end up going to dinner or doing anything. And
this is where all of that, how can we get that and to boil it to just the facts? So you can't argue with it. We did not go out to dinner or do anything.
We didn't celebrate. Yeah, and he didn't give me a present or even a card, although there's a card on his desk that he hasn't filled out yet.
But that's what you could say. You did not do anything. You did not give me a gift or do anything to celebrate our anniversary. Right. That's a fact. Right. They'd have a hard time arguing with that. I could argue with, I don't care about you. You don't care about me because that's not a fact. So we would stick to just the facts.
Okay.
Stick to just our emotions. Because people can't argue with, they can try, but they have no, leg to stand on. You don't feel this way. No, I feel. So how did you feel in that situation?
I felt hurt, but I also felt like I don't really deserve to feel hurt because he's sick and it was just Mother's Day and there's a lot going on. So I felt hurt, but then I also felt like I shouldn't feel hurt.
Okay. And so what would you like him to know? That you were feeling hurt, even though you recognize some of your own, even though you can understand his reasonings, I'm still feeling hurt.
Right.
So that's something like that would be your emotional thing. Like, what do you want to communicate to him? What emotion are you feeling? Are you feeling uncared for, unappreciated? So getting into that, what is that core
right
kind of feeling?
So feeling hurt and just doing a small act seems like it would be possible. Oh, that's not, I'm too much.
That's
like
the next part.
Hurt.
Nope, we're just separating. Like, this
hurt.
is where, when it gets emotionally charged, it is like all of this starts to bleed together. And so we've got our facts, like,
okay,
do anything on my own
situation.
I'm feeling hurt, or unappreciated. And then that, even if I can understand, and then there's that assert. So ask. So this is where, what am I looking for? This is the whole point of this. Is, you know, it can be a lot of different things. So the example they give in here is, I would really like it if you would call me when you're going to be late.
Right.
I would really like it if you did something to show appreciation.
Right. So I would really like it if you filled out that card.
Yeah, it would mean a lot to me.
I would really like it. It would mean a lot to me if you would fill out that card, even if it's late. Like, I would really enjoy
just that would be something.
Yes.
And then the last part of the dear that I focus on is this reinforce. Like, people don't do things for no reason.
Right.
So we have to show them why it's in their interest as well to do this. And that doesn't have to be like, I will do something, although sometimes, you know, it can be like, I will take you to, you know, this concert, whatever it could be. But a lot of times it's, we will have fewer fights.
I think what would be reinforcing is if I actually stop talking.
Yeah, like we will have this will end the conversation.
Will end.
Because we're trying to teach them to do this in the future. So I'm like, we can move forward and I won't keep bringing it up.
Right, yeah. That
has to be something that you actually do carry out. Otherwise it's not reinforced. Like, we're kind of training people, just like, you know, all relationships, we're all, you know, we all do things because of reinforcement. So this idea of finding what would be reinforcing, and this idea that I would be able to let this go and move forward and not bring it up again, might be reinforcing. Like, we don't have to keep talking about this.
Is it reinforcing? Like, by doing this, it will make me happy? That's probably not, is that not reinforcing?
Like, your happiness, I would hope, would be reinforcing to him. So that could be something like, I will be happier and easier to live with, is the example they give. Like, I would be so relieved. Like, our relationship will be stronger or smoother.
Yeah. Okay. So I will.
And I will thank you. Like, never underestimate the power of just thank you. It would mean a lot. So it's
I would really appreciate that so much. Like, it would be something
and
appreciate.
And saying to him too, like, what's in it for him, like, our relationship will be smoother.
Yeah.
I do think the idea of this fight will be like, you won't have to hear about it anymore, might actually be pretty reinforcing, because I find that's often what is the ultimate goal is, I want to stop having this fight.
We can move on from this moment. We can move on.
And that's where people feel not heard, so they escalate, versus the other person is like, oh, that's what you needed for this to stop. And so we're actually explaining that to them. So that's the gist of it. I'm like, this is the most important part. And then the man part is really just staying mindful for your goals. So this is, you know, kind of just a supplement, but this idea, maintain your position, don't be distracted, don't get off topic. This is when we use the broken record. If it's someone who tends well, last time you did XYZ, okay, we can discuss that at another time, but I'm talking about this instance right here.
Do you think it's helpful to have write that goal, just to keep it? Because I can easily forget goal to
what is my goal? And that's where actually this is where I actually have people write out, let's just get to the basics. What's the fact? What's our thing? And even beforehand, we have to decide what is our goal.
Right.
Our goal should be like, you want that card.
Yeah.
You want that card or something. I believe you deserve more than a card, but let's start with the card.
Yeah. Okay.
And so be mindful of that. Ignore attacks. You know, sometimes this is, you know, when someone is trying to distract you, we're just staying
like, I am the prize. I am the prize, Violet.
And that's that mindfulness, appear confident. So this is that like, oh, I don't have to be like, I'm so sorry to bother you. You know, so it's this like, idea that I'm, you know, I have a right to express my feelings and ask for something. It doesn't mean that they will do it, but I should appear confident to be effective.
Nice. Like it.
And then negotiate is the last part. Like, I'm willing to say, you know, like, it doesn't have to be the card. Like, okay, can we do something else? Like, what do you suggest? So having that room for, it's not all or nothing. I'm not threatening. It's more of a like negotiation. But that's the gist of it. It's really just this, I think the key part is just pulling out that describe and express, because people mix those up, and that's when these arguments get messy. So no one can invalidate your feelings, and hopefully you're not arguing about the facts. The facts are the facts.
Right.
So this is where there shouldn't be that back and forth.
Got it. Interpersonal effectiveness, especially for like higher, moderate to anything above mild emotional terrain.
Something's not working in your communication. It's emotionally intense. I'm not able to get what I want or get my needs met in a way. It doesn't mean that this will get them, but at least you're more likely to be successful.
Perfect. Thank you so much for this.
I hope that was helpful. So I love it.
Like personally, very helpful. And I think professionally as a way to really inject this in a user-friendly.
And this is where, usually with clients, I have to really like, because it's so messy, like, and they're bringing in all these things, your job is like, okay, what is just the facts of the situation? What is how you feel? What is our goal?
Through the portal. So if you want to send it to clients as a homework assignment or that they could have available, it will be through the Therapy Notes portal as well. So thank you so much, Dr. Franklin. Like, this was a great little Insta lesson. Much appreciated.
Glad I could help.
Thank you.